Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm actually going to be doing a tutorial of sorts, but I'm going to actually be incorporating basics. So if you're a beginner to makeup, if you don't have that large of a makeup collection, if you find makeup overwhelming, anything like that, everything that we are going to be using today for this tutorial is easily accessible. You can find it at the drugstore, and it's affordable in comparison to high-end priced products. So first off, I washed my face, I moisturized my face, just your regular skincare routine. So first we're going to start off with primer. So I mentioned this in one of my last videos. This is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty primer. So it comes in a little pot. You just scoop it out. This is mainly to help with pore size, visible pores, and texture a little bit. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of it on my hand, so about that much, and here. And this is, again, going to kind of just fill in those pores, smooth them over, so we have a nice makeup application versus just over bare skin. So if you think of like an orange, you can imagine an orange. So an orange has a textured peel, right? So think about if you just kind of swiped foundation over an orange peel. The foundation is going to look smooth everywhere that it's smooth, but anywhere that there's an indentation, aka a pore, it won't necessarily grab onto the smoothness of the skin. It will show that texture in those pores. So if you use a primer, it's just going to kind of fill in everything and make everything smooth. So our foundation will have a nice canvas to lay across. All right. So next we're gonna go in, this is one of my favorites from the drugstore. This is the Loreal Infallible Freshwear foundation. I use the shade 400. I think it's one of the lightest shades that they make. But again, you can get this at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, anywhere that L'Oreal makeup is sold. This is a really popular foundation. So, and I find that it gives you good coverage, and it lasts, so it doesn't wear off. So I'm gonna probably take maybe a couple of pumps just all over my face. Nothing fancy. Doesn't have to be any kind of fancy application. And we're actually going to be doing foundation first. I know a lot of people think to do concealer first. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Makeup is really a personal preference, so it's however you choose and what order to put your makeup on. So I'm just going to be using like a kabuki brush. This one's from MORPHE. You can use any kind of kabuki brush to put on your foundation. Kabuki brushes work great with cream products or liquid products just because they are so dense. The brush head is so dense that it makes it really easy to blend in cream or liquid products. So just circles, buffing motions all over the face. I started with just that layer, and then if we need to, this foundation is pretty buildable. So if we need to, we can go back over any spots that we would need to cover more. And I have, you know, uneven skin tone. I have scarring from previous breakouts. And since I am so fair-skinned, those scars and those marks kind of show up a little more than they should. So we'll do another quick layer. Not a whole bunch, just where I feel like I need more. And again, this blends out like a dream. It blends out super easy. So again, and also you can alternate between circular motions like this and stippling motions just up and down like this. And patting motions. It's really however you feel the application works best. Nobody starts out in makeup as a professional. Everybody has to start somewhere. I'm by no means a professional. I just enjoy makeup. I like the way that makeup makes me feel. If you're having a bad day, or if you're just kind of like, meh, not really feeling it, I find that if I just put on a little bit of makeup, it kind of boosts your mood, boosts your confidence. And it's not so much that you're covering anything up, you're gonna use that makeup to accentuate great features about yourself to make you feel a little more confident to take on your day. So, alright, those little spots I can actually use concealer because I don't want to just keep layering up foundation. I like foundation when it doesn't have hair. I still have a hair. I like foundation when when you can't feel it, when it's real lightweight, you don't feel like anything is on your skin. That's the type of foundation that I prefer. And that is the kind of feel that this foundation gives. It's real lightweight, it's breathable. I don't feel like there's anything on my skin. If you're a person that, you know, doesn't wear makeup often, of course you're probably gonna feel like something's on your skin because there is something on your skin. But this is a really lightweight foundation. So I like the way that that's looking so far. So next we're going to go into concealer, and this concealer is from e.l.f. It's their 16-hour Camo Concealer. This was the original that they had launched. I think now they have launched a like a moisturizing one if you have dry skin, or like a dewy, I can't remember exactly what the name is called, but it's got a big giant doe foot applicator. So here it is in comparison to the product, but a giant doe foot applicator, so it makes it really easy to apply. I just do a couple of dots where I have darkness. I have darkness under my eyes, so I'm just gonna even that stuff out. I'm gonna take care of this guy right here, this guy right here. I think that'll be okay. These I don't really mind. At least it makes me look like I'm naturally, that it's my natural look. I like it whenever freckles and stuff kind of pokes through. That way you don't look like you just have a mask on your face. So in regard to concealer, you can actually use a brush or a sponge. So in essence, so here was our foundation brush. In essence, we're just using a skinnier kind of foundation brush. This, you know, again, dense bristles, they don't bend, they don't really give a whole lot. But that will make it easier to keep the product all in one place. And I'm just making stippling motions over where the areas that I'm wanting to cover. I have some scarring here on my cheeks. I didn't place any product there because I'm just using what's left on the brush from these other two spots. And then I'm gonna go under the under eyes. But again, like I was saying, you can use a sponge, you can use a brush. It's totally up to you. Makeup is all about preference and what you feel works for you. I used to use sponges all the time. I'm kind of into the brush mode now. I'm sure I'll go back to sponges at some point in time, just because kind of switch it up. Gives you a little bit of variety. So I'm taking that concealer that was under my eye and I'm just going all around that orbital bone, all over the lid. But again, you notice I didn't place product on my lid because I don't want it to be too much. I'm just taking what is on our brush right now that we're using, and I'm kind of just evening out the tone on my eyelids, just because I'm so fair, my veins show through my eyelids, and I just kind of want to even them out a little bit. So see how that kind of just brightened up my under eye? Got a little bit of coverage. So now I'm just going in on the other eye. I always laugh because I feel like I make funny faces when I'm doing anything with my eyes. I feel like I look like a clown. But sometimes you gotta move your face to be able to get in to those little spots. Again, if you use a sponge, you use a pointy tip. Sometimes they're shaped like an egg, just with a point at the top. So if you use that little point, you can get into those little spots really well. But again, I just prefer a brush. You can use a sponge. Again, there's no right and wrong way to do makeup. Makeup is subjective. All about how you feel something works best for you. And we're not going crazy today with any look or anything. We're just kind of doing a natural basics makeup. And I'm just going to take what's left on that brush. Just kind of going to go over those little spots, even though it's okay that they poke through, but just getting a little extra coverage. Nothing wrong with that. Alrighty, so we can move on now to, so we need to set everything that we just put on our face. Everything we just put on our face was a liquid or a cream product. So not everybody has to set their makeup, but I prefer to, just because I feel like throughout the day it will slightly rub off. I don't have super dry skin, but I don't have super oily skin. So depending on your skin type, you can set it, you don't have to set it, it's totally up to you. So our next product that we're going in with is also from the drugstore. I mentioned this in a previous video. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus translucent powder. I'm just gonna set my under eyes because, since you know everybody has lines under their under eyes, some more than others, but we're just going to set it just a little bit. We're just going to use what's in the lid, and I'm using just a fluffy brush that kind of just fits perfectly under my under eyes. You don't have to use that. You can use just your regular like a face powder brush. I'm just setting that so we don't get any extra creasing. Again, just using what was in the lid, hardly any product, because powder does stretch, so to speak. You don't have to have it full of powder to get the effect that you're wanting. And then, since I did put a little bit of that concealer on my eyelids, I'm just gonna kind of go through here just so it won't crease on my eyelids. And that'll also give us a nice little base for when we go in with our eyeshadow. So, again, you see how that just kind of evened out my eyelids. You can still, I have some freckling on my eyelids, but you can see how that kind of just evened it out there. Set that, and then whenever I say a regular face powder brush, the one I use is rather large, but it'll cover my whole face in no time. So we're gonna move on, still using that same powder, rubbing it in my lid. This kind of makes a little bit of a cloud, but this stuff is so finely milled. That's kind of what happens. So just putting a light dusting, a light layer of powder all over, just to set our powder, our foundation and our concealer. Whenever you're using a powder product, you want to use kind of a fluffier brush That way you don't have it all concentrated in one spot on your face. And again, since this powder is so finely milled, it will kind of fluff up everywhere, but a finely milled powder is the key to having kind of a flawless airbrush look on your face. So, moving on. Alrighty, we can do brows next. I like to use the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil, and I use the color medium brown. So usually what I do is I just run my spoolie through. It's like a little comb for your brows. Kind of, not so much detangle them, but just kind of lay them in the shape that you're going to go for that day. So kind of a thin tip, not super thin, but this stuff you don't have to push super hard for it to deposit color. And again, I'm not shaping my brows in any way. I'm not doing anything outside the lines, so to speak. I'm just tracing my natural brow just for a little bit of color. Just so my hair matches my brow. See, so you can just kind of tell a difference. This one just looks a little more polished, a little darker, a little more put together. This one is my natural brow. There's just some sparse areas, but we're gonna fix that. And again, just lightly filling in, just so my eyebrows match my hair color. Since I am slightly blonde, slightly red, my eyebrows and eyelashes don't really show up that great on their own. So we're gonna use a little help from e.l.f. After that, after I've deposited the color, I go back in with my spoolie just to kind of run it through, disperse the product nicely, just for a natural looking brow. Nothing fancy. All right. And next up, we can go ahead and do, eyes, I guess. I'm gonna curl my lashes. Not everybody prefers to curl their lashes. I have to because my eyelashes grow super stick straight. So just give a couple little crimps with your eyelash curler. Again, I think every brand makes an eyelash curler. Tweezerman, they make, tweezers and all kinds of skincare tools. I think they make an eyelash curler. Any makeup brand makes an eyelash curler. If they make mascara, chances are they make an eyelash curler. So again, just going in with a couple crimps of that. And here's the little tip. The little rubber gasket that comes in eyelash curlers, that stuff has to be replaced. It's maintenance just like anything else. If you continually use that and use that and use that, over time that metal bar is actually going to crimp into that rubber, maybe even cut it depending on how hard you crimp it down. And then over time, if you keep curling your eyelashes into a cut piece of that rubber piece, it can actually break your lashes off. So be sure that you're kind of keeping track of how long you've had that rubber piece in your eyelash curler. So we can go ahead and go in. I'm going to be using the Milani Pure Passion palette. This one kind of red, not really red, kind of mauve-y colors, neutrals, a little bit of pink, but a good disbursement of mattes and shimmers. So I'm just gonna go in with just like a fluffy fluffy brush, nothing fancy, just something that has some give. Let me show you, like this. See how it's it's giving, but whenever I just press on the top, it still has some density to it. But when I push this way, it bends. So that is actually going to allow you to get a good lay down of your color whenever you're going to do just a simple crease look. So I'm gonna go into this middle shade right here. I don't know if you guys can see, and I don't know if it actually has a name. Oh, it does. It's called Totally Fawn of You. So we're just gonna go in with that color, tap off the excess. Right here in, like you can feel with your brush where your eye socket is. You're just gonna follow that natural eye socket. Just until we have some good shading. So see the difference between this and this? This is my bare eye, just that concealer and powder. This is with a crease color. Again, just kind of circles, back and forth like a windshield wiper. Circles, back and forth like a windshield wiper. Just so it blends in nicely. See? So that just added a little bit of definition to my eye. I'm gonna go in on the other side. Back and forth like a windshield wiper. Circles. Just so it's not like a line across your face or across your eye. Circles, little tiny circles. Back and forth like a windshield wiper. And you kind of want them to look a little even. So see how on this one I got a little extra? So it's easier to add than to take away. So I'm just gonna add a little bit extra. On there. And the longer that you blend and buff, the more diffused the color will be. I think that looks all right. Again, I'm not trying to go for a strong eye look today. I'm just trying to show the basics of basics in your kit. So, I'm trying to see, what color should we go in with next? You know, I think I'm actually just gonna do a 2 shadow look today. So, I'm gonna go in with probably this color here in the middle. You can see this one right here in the middle, and it is called Pink Sand. And I'm actually gonna go in with my finger, rub it in there a little bit, and see right there. And it's kind of a shimmer, just to give you a little bit of reflect on the eye. And again, this could be something that you could wear every day. If you want to just put a little bit of something on, but don't want to be barefaced, going into the office, just have a little zhuzh of your natural beauty. There, I think that looks okay. Yeah. So see the difference? So just that, using my finger, sometimes your fingers are the best tools for eyeshadow, especially shimmers, because they lay it down so nicely. So I'm gonna go back in on the other side. And again, you don't have to be a professional makeup artist to just get a little bit of product laid down. Make yourself feel good. And see how we've just got a little bit of shimmer. Neutrals are always a good way to go, and neutrals are always the best way to start a makeup collection. And then you can kind of figure out what colors you like, if you do like color. If you don't, stick to being neutral. There is nothing wrong with wearing a neutral eyeshadow look every day. Totally nothing wrong with it. Because you can still have different colors and they still be neutral. I mean, because take a look at this. Take a look at this. All of these are neutral colors. Technically, on a color wheel, these are all neutral colors. But they're all different, as you can see. Some are matte, some are shimmer, and they're all different though. But again, all neutral. So, next up, let's go ahead and do mascara. I mentioned this in my previous video. This is the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. So this is one of my favorite mascaras from the drugstore. Oh man, I'm almost out. Let's get this in here. Let's hope we can get some. So a tip is, a lot of people think that you have to pump your mascara to get more product on the wand, and all that does is introduce air into your tube. Air gives a breeding ground for bacteria. So if you're ever trying to get the last bit of mascara, swirl like this. You can feel it whenever you go in a circle like this inside the tube. You can actually get product on your brush that way, and you don't have to pump it back and forth, introducing air into your tube, which harbors and grows bacteria. So, just gonna do a couple quick coats. Ooh, I think I poked myself in my eye. My eye started watering. Alright, a couple coats, maybe not even two, of that Lash Princess mascara. There we go. And I'm gonna go in with the bottom lashes. We can always put on eyeliner later. I'm a person that prefers putting on eyeliner, just because since I am so fair, I feel like my skin almost blends in with my eyeball. And the only thing that separates that is the mascara. So adding eyeliner into my waterline will give it a little bit extra. So again, gotta swirl it around. I think everybody has one eye that always looks better than the other whenever they're putting on mascara. Anytime I can get my eyelashes to cooperate the same on the same day, that is success. Going in on my bottom lashes. And we'll put some eyeliner on last. Let's see. Let's go in with bronzer, and I mentioned this in my last video. This is the Milani Silky Matte bronzing powder. This stuff is a perfect dupe for the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Matte bronzer, and this can be found at the drugstore, just like everything that we're using here today. And this is the shade Sunlight. This is 01 Sunlight. So I'm just taking a brush, again, has a little bit of density here, but whenever I go like this, it has some bend. And again, just swirling around like this, tap off the excess, and you're gonna go right here, if you make that fishy face, right here in the hollows of your cheeks. You can actually feel where your cheekbone is. You're gonna go slightly under that and just a little bit over. You don't ever wanna blend your bronzer down, because it will cause a muddy look, so to speak. It'll look like you've almost put the wrong color foundation on your face. So anytime you're bronzing, you always wanna bronze upward. So right here where my cheekbone is, I'm gonna make a little bit of a outline, and then I'm gonna start going in circles to kind of blend it out. And you can even go up under your temple, and this is just gonna warm up the complexion. Again, going in a circle into the palette. And again, you always want to bronze upward. You never want to bring it down. upward is always a good, you always want to, with anything, blush, bronzer, highlighter, you always want to go upward, in an upward motion. Because if you're going to go in a downward motion, it's almost like you're bringing your face down. And you don't want to bring your face down, you want to look lifted. Everybody wants to look younger, you want to look lifted. So you want to bronze upward. And see how that kind of just warmed up the cheeks? And then now I'm going to go in just a little bit where the sun would naturally hit your face if you were outside. Down into the temples. So see how I'm almost connecting this right here? So if you thought about it, the sun would hit your forehead right here. So this is where you want to get a little bit of color. Nothing crazy, just a little bit of bronzing where it would naturally hit your face. And then here you're creating a shadow to create more of a cheekbone, more of a cut or chiseled look there. It's a good tip how to thin out your cheeks. So, and then next we can go in with blush. Again, this is also from Milani, and this is the Baked Powder Blush, and this is in Bella Bellini. It's a little bit of a pinky color, and it looks like this. I do find that it is comparable to Orgasm from NARS, which was one from our last video. So if you hold them side by side, they look pretty similar. This though, at the drugstore. So I'm gonna go in with a angled brush. See how this is angled a little bit? And that's gonna be perfect for if you turn it this way and you're blending up. Perfect for right there where you're gonna place your blush. So take our angled brush here, get a little bit on there. And since this does have a reflect, we won't even have to worry about highlighter. So right there, you don't have to go buy another product. And again, I'm just swirling it in there and tapping off the excess. I'm a firm believer in whenever you get product on your brush, tap off the excess. That way you don't end up with a pink or whatever color your blush is. Just like a very concentrated color deposit on your face. And again, going here, and this is the apples of the cheeks. So you see that highlight right there? That's from this blush. Don't even have to use highlighter. So apples of the cheeks, the best way to find the apples of your cheeks is to smile. That little spot that comes up, that's the apples of your cheeks. So right here, and then blend upward. Whatever's left on my brush, I just kind of take it down the nose here and on the tip, and look at that, it just gave us a natural highlight. Now we look dewy and fresh and awake and alive. So let's go ahead and go in with an eyeliner. Now my eyeliner here, let me see if I can find, this is brown. I don't think I have a black eyeliner from the drugstore. Either way, these pencils that I have here are from BH Cosmetics. I'm not sure if you can find BH at the drugstore, but I know you can find it in the drugstore section at Ulta, or you can order from their website. So this is the Power Pencil, and this is the color Warm Brown. We're just gonna go ahead and use brown today, and I'm just gonna tight line my eyes. And whenever I say tight line, I'm actually going to be putting the pencil in my waterline. This does take a little bit of practice, but it's the way that I prefer to line my eyes. And I know you're not supposed to pull on your skin, but sometimes it's the only way to get a good tight line there. So, just getting a good line right there. And see the difference? A lot of people think tight lining your eyes closes your eyes off. And while that can be true, I just feel like this eye shows up a lot better than the eye with no eyeliner on it. A lot of people use like a white or a beige, like a skin tone, you know, a light skin tone color for tight lining their eyes. And they, you know, at least you're getting an eyeliner there, but it's also opening your eyes. same time. I just prefer darker because I'm so fair, and I feel like it helps my eyes show up a little more, if that makes sense. Alright, right there. And last but not least, we can go for lips. And again, this is also from Milani. You can get this at the drugstore. This is their Green Goddess Transforming Lip Balm. This stuff actually works with your body temperature and your pH. So if you take a look at this, it's green. It's like a light green color. But whenever you place it on your lips, it's gonna turn into a pinky color. And again, it's just going by pH and body temperature. So see, it's already changing. Isn't that crazy? It looks like it's gonna go on green or possibly clear, but it changes to a pink. So, I think I look kind of, you know, fresh, bright, dewy for the springtime. After this, you can go in with a setting spray if you choose to. A good drugstore setting spray or drugstore price point setting spray that I recommend would be the MORPHE Continuous Setting Mist. It comes in like a little can. It almost looks like hairspray, and you hold it down, it continues to spray. It's a really fine mist. It'll lock all your makeup in, and you'll be good to go for the entire day. Depending on if you're an oilier person or not, you may want to keep like a translucent powder compact in your purse, just to kind of, you know, get rid of any shine throughout the day. But yeah, I mean, everything that I've used today, I 100% approve. This is just kind of a everyday makeup look, and again, all of this can be found at the drugstore. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm about to go kind of get my hair together because now my face looks all right and my hair doesn't. So gonna go get this together and start our day, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please consider subscribing, and I will talk to you soon.